Right, so the world premiere is a go, which means the entire set for High Seas has been released, right? You can go onto Fabry and look through all the cards. I don't think it's quite up yet on FabTCG, but maybe by the time I release this, it will be. But that means we have a lot to go through. So we will be going over each class individually. So I usually go, for instance, in this set, we'll go Mech, then we'll do Necromancer, then we'll do Ranger, then we'll do Pirates, and then we'll do Generic and Expansion slot, right? But until then, fun time. My initial guesses. So, for the High Seas Fabled, right, we had Cursed Coin, which was either when it's pitched and you control no gold, you get gold, or if it's pitched to pay for gold, you create another gold. But, nice and simple, it's just Riches of Tapei Dahini. Hopefully I'm not butchering that too bad. Which is nice and simple, just when this is pitched, create a gold token. So, yeah, not as obviously regulated as the effects I was going for, but still on the money when it comes to just generating gold, which I think ended up being just a lot of people's guesses, right? With how focused the set ended up being on gold. So yeah, it is actually a nice fable. It's applicable to everyone, and everyone definitely does benefit from gold. So yeah, 2 resources and a gold. I think this is going to do pretty well as an actual fable, right? Then, for the Marvels, we had all the heroes, of course, and then shared equal love amongst everyone. Nope. It's all gravy, right? So, yeah, every single Marvel slot in the set, aside from the heroes, is an ally for gravy, including the 3 from the Armory deck. So, Anka, Oyster, and Sawbones. They are the Armory deck allies, but they will feature as Marvels in the High Sea set. So, yeah, good luck collecting playsets of these, right? I know obviously they won't all get played because there's way too many at this point, but still, getting playsets, especially of the really hard to find ones, the expensive ones, right? The Majestics, the Armory deck ones, basically the ones with proper effects or, not niche effects. Yeah, it's definitely going to be rough, right? Now, Riptide. We were thinking he'd feature in the set. Well, close enough. He's in Gem Pack 2, so we will be able to get our hands on a Marvel Riptide in the Gem Pack, right? Then for the actual Treasure Pack Marvel. So, Goldfin Harpoon, Mech, got that on, right? So, Poly. And then, again, shared, equal, love. No, we end up with a series of amulets. And important thing to remember is all the amulets are only 100 copies apiece, right? So they are exceedingly more rare than either the Goldfin Harpoon or Polycranker, right? And I would assume that Goldfin Harpoon is going to be more common than Poly, since obviously you can run multiple Goldfin Harpoons and only one singular Poly, right? So yeah, I'm not too blown away by the amulet set, right? I think the backgrounds, again, similar to the sigils, don't do them justice, right? It's a lot of just solid space in a sense, right? Obviously, it's not, there's gradients to it and shading and everything like that. But generally speaking, I don't know, a little bit more dynamic, more leaning into the actual effects. Like, for instance, the Onyx Amulet to me stands out the most because it looks, again, like a spider silhouette. The Amethyst Amulet just being, lightning bolts, or the Platinum being techie. They're cool, but they're not as dynamic to me, right? Whereas the Diamond and the Opal as well, especially with the Opal's color. But if you like them, you'll like them, right? They are basically all the potion effects that we have to date, right? Just in amulet form. So you can now run 4 copies apiece, essentially. So, yeah, exciting if you pull one, right? Then the legendaries. So, there's actually no generic, right? We have 2 mech. Well, we have Puffin and a mech. Dread Threads, Sea, Lace, Sarong, Gold Baited Hook, and surprise, Codex of Frailty is the uprated reprint, right? So it's interesting art. I don't like it as much. I know all 3 are by the same artist, but I don't know. It falls a bit flat to me compared to the initial Codex. And I love the marvels from Outsiders. I like the apothecary feel, the old sketch notes sort of feel, right? But there are our 6, and then our treasure pack are basically EAs of our Cogworks, Dead Threads, Sea Lace, and just a normal gold bait hook, which makes sense. It is a lot of text on it. But yeah, right? Legendaries in set, legendaries in pack. So that brings us lastly to the treasure pack. 14 common cold foils, 49 pirate cold foils, 4 legendary cold foils, 11 marvel cold foils, and 43 lost treasures. There is, unfortunately, a lot of garbage in this, right? So 14 common cold foils is already rough to the pool, but then we add all the pirate cards, and there's 27 more common of them, of which there are a lot of just limited draft fodder cards, right? 18 rares and 4 majestics, the 4 legendaries, and then again the 11 marvels, which is more like 2, and then 9 that are hard to find, and then obviously the lost treasures being 1 in 1,000 packs, exceedingly harder to find. So yeah, I feel like they're a bit of a disappointment, right? I guess it's this whole premise of here's a treasure pack, right? A nice shiny thing opposed to, again, finding just a cold foil in the box. So you have this idea of grandeur, right, that then just gets shut on in some sense because, yeah, more often than not, this will miss, right? Well, I give it too much recompense in that sense, right? Because it's worse than the normal cold foil rates, right? We have, again, 14 and 27, so 41 common equivalent cards in the treasure pack for you to pull, opposed to, again, just the normal set where, yeah, sure, you'll get a cold foil common now and then, right? But again, it's rate to rare, majestic, better equipment, usable equipment definitely differentiates it significantly to me, right? Mainly because, again, a lot of the pirate cards are just, well, in a sense, one-dimensional because they are for limited. But the other curiosity here is the 49. So, in the keynote summary, 49 is mentioned. But if you remember, right, the High Seas release page and then the product pamphlet, right, both of them mention 52 pirate booty, right? So that's 3 cards missing, right? Which makes me wonder on to the next big point and the big reveal of the premiere, and that is Scurvy, right? So Scurvy is a pirate. Scurvy's companion, technically a pirate. Scurvy in Rainbow form, Scurvy in a Marvel make up 2. Sticky Fingers makes up 1, potentially. Or it's just a typo and there was always just going to be 49 cards, right? Not 52. But fingers crossed, because, yeah, Scurvy seems awesome. I really wish he was an adult, right? So Thief here plays an interesting role because there are no Thief cards. Thief acts as an interaction similar to, well, Elemental or Royal. So it does make me think that Thief is not a class and Thief is a talent, but then it's also not Thief Pirate, it's Pirate Thief, right? But food for thought. He doesn't, to me, need anything else, right? A weapon would be nice, but, you know, you stick him with Talishare, and he just takes the pirate cards, and he has a nice time with a very, very nice effect. So, action, destroy a gold you control, create a Gold Kiss Rum token, go again. And then whenever you activate Gold Kiss Rum, for memory, Gold Kiss Rum gives you next action, any action, go again. You also get to generate a resource. So that seems really nice. And then Sticky Fingers being his companion, in addition to, again, Talishare as a two-handed weapon, does seem really, really solid of a package. So both of them, in a sense, deplete, right? But they are both strong, right? Talashare's above rate. And then Sticky Fingers attack. When this attacks a hero, steal a gold token they control. I kind of wish it was an item. If it was item, this would definitely be a lot more applicable to Fast Constructed, right? But still, solid damage to then go into, well, a secondary weapon. So, yeah. Scurvy. As you may have seen during the High Seas World Premiere, some players opened a special 4th High Seas hero. Let's break down the first ever Pirate Thief, Scurvy Stowaway. So, you can play Scurvy if you do pull him in limited events, right? So if you find him in your sealed lot for the pre-release, right? Or you find him in draft, you are allowed to take him and you're allowed to pivot, build Scurvy, right? Pirate Thief. Although, in that sense, remember, it does lock you out of basically all cards but Pirate and Generic. So, yeah, if you're playing a sealed format, you must open Scurvy. You don't automatically have access to him like the other heroes. And then if you're playing Draft, you must draft Scurvy. Although his back is empty, he is a rare, he's not a basic card, token card in this set. So you don't have to reveal him to the pod, and you can just sneakily swap to Scurvy, right? But Sticky Fingers is a basic, right? So we'll be able to find this in Plethora, right? To be able to use with Scurvy. So, yeah, Scurvy does not have a basic weapon. They start the game equipped with instead his companion, Sticky Fingers, right? And then he is a offhand companion with Perch, so it can't be targeted unless a card specifies that he does target. And then, of course, his effect to steal gold, so he will be quite dynamic in High Seas Limited, right? Because, again, gold is the name of the game, especially with Treasure Island, not to mention the cards that are actually focused on Scurvy. So either they hit the keyword Thief, or they are specifically Scurvy cards, which, you know what, we'll tack that on to the end. We'll go through those cards, because I think they shouldn't run too long, right? So, yeah, you can play him in Blitz, right? He is a young hero, but obviously you can't play him in Living Legend or Class Constructed, so we want adult Scurvy. But it also gripes me, because this would have been the perfect melody case, or just a bard in general, right? A pirate bard, same sort of thing, but you have final act as the payoff. But yeah, Thief is definitely strong in itself. So card-wise, right? 265, but they're not actually all up yet. Yeah, no, they're not all up. And nor are the treasure pack cards, only 22, right? So we still don't know what the big secret to the treasure pack is. We know that, again, there's 17 unique, there's the not so unique, but equally kind of as rare cards, right, in the Lost Treasure slot, but there's also going to be something else, right? Or probably lots of something else. The Gravy Bones Armory deck was also showcased. There is going to be one copy of Call to the Grave in there. So that's nice, right? Should help ease up on it a little. He does come with some new equipment, which I guess we'll get to when we get to Necromancer. But as for the actual High Seas cards, let me zero in on Scurvian Thief. So it's actually a decent chunk of cards for, right, a side hero, right? So we have Light Fingers as an equipment. When this defends, if you are a thief, steal a gold token that the attacking hero controls, and then Blade Break with 1, right? Lost in Transit. When this defends, you may remove a gold counter from Treasure Island, but if you're a thief, you get to also create a gold token. So again, he's got that little bit extra dynamic play, where thanks to Thief, he gets an extra sort of trigger on some of these cards. We have Thieving Vermins. When this attacks, you may remove a gold counter from Treasure Island. If you do and you are a thief, again, create a gold token. And then we have Money All Your Life. When this hits a hero, deal 2 damage to them unless they give you a gold token. And then if you're a thief, you get to repeat this process. So a 3 potentially for 8 is kind of nice, right? Granted, it's a little bit easier to block out, but it's still somewhat interesting of a rare to me, right? Even just without the thief aspect, doing the extra 2 on-hit damage. And then we have Divvy Up. Remove half the gold counters from Treasure Island, rounded up. If you are a thief, instead remove all of them, and then you get to create gold tokens equal to the number of gold counters removed this way. So that's really, really interesting action. No go again, but as thief, you just blank Treasure Island, which is definitely going to be important to Limited. Otherwise, for everyone else, you just get half the gold straight away without having to do the actual trigger. And then Scurvy himself does actually have a Scurvy card. So Scurvy has the spec, not so fast. The next time an opponent would draw a card from the effect of a gold token this turn, instead you get to draw the card, which is definitely interesting, right? So yeah, he's definitely going to shake up Limited, and he's going to be really, really fun. So again, he is hoping that adult version at some point, right? Or Thief as a full-fledged class, maybe. And maybe potentially a nice shiny version in the treasure pack to boot. So I think we'll leave it there. So again, we will eventually go through all the cards, right? Just do it little by little to make it nice and digestible. Plus then, you know, if you're not interested in mech, you don't have to watch mech. You're not interested in Necromancer, same sort of thing, right? But yeah, go check out the cards. There's a lot to go through, and I definitely need to sit down and obviously read a whole bunch, right? Which generally leads to me misreading a card or two, so forgive me. But yeah, hope you enjoy. Hope you're excited. Yeah.